This is Japan. Modern, peaceful, innovative. A global superpower. But beneath the surface, something is breaking. The population is shrinking. The economy is stagnant, and the golden era of Japanese innovation and culture that was synonymous with the nation are coming to an end. How does a country fall from being one of the most promising nations to come out of the 20th century to becoming a dystopia if nothing changes? This is the full story on how Japan is collapsing piece by piece. Chapter 1: Demographics. Japan's population has been declining for decades now. There were more people in 2010 than today in 2025. But why is this such a big deal? For a country to have a stable population, you need a fertility rate of roughly 2.1 children per woman. In 1947, the Japanese used to have around 5 children on average. Since then, the birth rate has been on a rapid decline, putting that number at 1.2 today. Each couple will produce roughly 1 child. But what do these numbers actually mean in the real world? If fertility stays as it is, this means 100 Japanese people will have roughly 60 children on average. When those children grow up, they will have 36 children, and as the cycle continues, by the 5th generation, those 100 people will shrink to just 8. This assumes nothing changes and the birth rate does not decline any lower than it already is. That is a 96% decline, from 100 to just 8 in 5 generations. The future seems distant. However, these changes in population will hit the current younger generation of Japanese people very hard when they get older. Globally, when a country gets more economically prosperous, people tend to have less children, get higher educations, and delay marriages, as they become more of a liability rather than an asset or means to survive.
これまで人類が経験したことのない異常に激しい変化を経験する。
This is Sweden's population pyramid. Healthy amount of working and able-bodied people to help contribute to the country's workforce and economy, which avoids youth dependency. This is Japan's population pyramid currently in 2025. An increased number of not working pension-aged people. This is Japan's future projected population pyramid in the year 2060. Millions of Japanese people would have died within those 35 years, and the few that are left are of old age and not working. It's looking dark, isn't it? Today, 30% of Japan's population is over 65. The main concern is that the current generation will not be able to support the older generation due to the sheer amount of people that are older compared to younger. The decreasing population will not be able to support Japan's future infrastructure, let alone today's infrastructure. Across the country, more and more rural areas are being abandoned. Once lively towns are now filled with boarded up houses and overgrown streets. And the impact of this goes far beyond empty neighborhoods. This term has been coined as ghost towns. Because these rural areas hollow out, the few young people who remain are forced to migrate to major cities like Tokyo, Nagoya, and Osaka in search for work and opportunity. This rapid urban migration creates skyrocketing housing demand in big cities, while the local economies in rural regions collapse even further, widening the wealth gap between urban and rural Japan. Chapter 2: Economics and Innovation. After World War II, something truly remarkable happened. Japan, a nation left in ruins, rose faster than almost anyone believed possible. Its economy didn't just recover, it exploded. In the decades following the war, Japan's economy grew at lightning speed, with annual GDP growth rates averaging from 5 to 10%. Factories roared back to life, cities modernized, and in 1968, Japan officially became the second largest economy in the world. They didn't just out-edge the competitors, they surpassed major powers like Germany, China, and the United Kingdom. By 1989, 8 out of the 10 largest companies in the world were Japanese. This was a massive achievement, a complete transformation from post-war devastation. For more than 40 years, Japan stood proudly as number 2 in the global economy. But nothing lasts forever. In 2010, that reign came to an end. China overtook Japan as the second largest economy in the world, and Japan's once unstoppable growth began to stall. A new chapter was beginning, one defined not by a rapid rise, but by stagnation.
ね、
はい。
名目経済成長率は
はい
大きくざっくり言って成長しなかったっていうのをまず。
The reason for this sudden stagnation is because of deflation. Prices stopped increasing and salaries stopped rising. Everyone would feel this sudden fall off instantly. Japan is also in crazy amounts of debt. The government tried to revive the economy through massive stimulus spending on infrastructure, public works, and subsidies. These measures kept the economy afloat, but didn't generate lasting growth. So Japan kept borrowing more and more. Essentially, Japan spent heavily to fight stagnation, but the growth never really came back, leaving Japan in huge amounts of debt. How much debt does Japan actually have? Japan's national debt is around $8.5 million, or 260%. To put that into perspective, the US GDP ratio is 125%, which is considered high by global standards, and the EU average is around 85%. Japan's is 3 times that. In the 20th century, Japan was seen by many as the future. Electronic giants like Sony, Panasonic, and Toshiba dominated the global consumer electronics market. Their products weren't just gadgets, they were symbols of quality, precision, and modernity. Meanwhile, in the auto industry, brands like Toyota, Honda, and Nissan rewrote the rulebook. Their cars were cheaper, more fuel efficient, and more reliable than many Western models. Japan's secret wasn't just about inventing everything from scratch, it was about perfecting. They took existing technologies and made them better, faster, and more efficient. But when innovation slowed down and new competitors arise, the playing field began to level out. This period is what people call the lost decades, a long period of economic stagnation. Japan became known for its work culture, long hours, minimal vacations, and an intense social pressure to perform created a generation of burnt out workers. Younger generations are growing up disillusioned. Many don't want to follow the rigid corporate paths their parents did. Because of this economic stagnation, secure jobs are harder to find. More young people work in unstable part-time positions, making it even harder to start families or build stable futures. Japan's work culture was once its strength, now it's a part of its problem. Is this the end of Japan? Japan's story isn't over. This is a country that rose from the ashes of war to become a global superpower. If nothing changes, the Japan of the future may look very different to the one the world admires today. But if there's one thing Japan has proven throughout history, is that it knows how to reinvent itself. The question is, will it do so in time?